Lingual frenulum. The lingual frenulum is a fold of mucous membrane that is located under the central portion of the tongue. When the tongue is lifted up, you will be able to see it. The lingual frenulum helps to anchor the tongue in the mouth. It also works to stabilize the movements of the tongue. That is the lingual frenulum, anchoring the tongue to the floor of the mouth. The tongue starts to develop at about 4 weeks. The tongue originates from the first, second, and third pharyngeal arches, and this induces the migration of muscles from the occipital myotomes. A U-shaped sulcus develops in front of and on both sides of the oral part of the tongue. This allows the tongue to be free and highly mobile, except at the region of the lingual frenulum where it remains attached. Disturbances during this stage cause tongue tie or ankylosing. During the 6th week of gestation, the median nasal processes approach each other to form a single globular process that in time gives rise to the nasal tip, columella, prolabium, frenulum of the upper lip, and primary palate. As the tongue continues to develop, frenulum cells undergo apoptosis, retracting away from the tip of the tongue and increasing the tongue's mobility. During early gestation, as early as 4 weeks, the lingual frenulum serves as a guide for the forward growth of the tongue. After birth, the tip of the tongue continues to elongate, gives the impression of the frenulum retracting, though in reality this has been going on for some time before birth. This is what gives the impression that the frenulum of some previously tongue-tied infants will stretch with age and growth. In reality, the tongue often just grows beyond the frenulum, although some do stretch and or rupture after mild accidents. Many others continue to cause problems throughout life unless corrected. Anatomy. The thin strip of tissue that runs vertically from the floor of the mouth to the undersurface of the tongue is called the lingual frenulum. It tends to limit the movement of the tongue, and in some people it is so short that it actually interferes with speaking. The base of the frenulum contains a V-shaped hump of tissue in the floor of the mouth, which houses a series of salivary gland ducts. The two large ducts are in the center, just in front of the attachment of the lingual frenulum, and they are called Wharton's ducts. They empty the submandibular, which is the submaxillary, sublingual salivary glands into a small prominence on either side of the frenulum, and this is called the sublingual caruncle. These ducts can be quite active in some persons, and on occasion a considerable amount of saliva may erupt from them while talking, eating, yawning, or cleaning the teeth in a process, and this is called leaking of saliva is called gleeking. The sublingual salivary glands empty through a series of tiny ducts in the tissue on either side of the Wharton's ducts. The tongue is attached to the floor of the oral cavity by the frenulum. Superficial veins run through the base of the frenulum and they are known as varicosities. Their presence is normal, becoming more and more prominent as one ages. Ankylosing, also called tongue tie, is a congenital anomaly characterized by an abnormally short lingual frenulum. When severe, the tip of the tongue cannot be protruded beyond the lower incisor teeth. Additionally, an abnormally short frenulum in infants can be a cause of breastfeeding problems, including sore and damaged nipples and inadequate feedings. The resultant trouble breastfeeding results in slower weight gain in affected infants. The absence of the inferior labial and lingual frenulum was found to be associated with classical and hypermobility types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.